Okay. In today's session, we'll just try to understand the power of third eye or the power of self-awareness. So what do you feel in your day-to-day life, the 7 days course you have learned and understood, are you able to practice it, be aware of yourself throughout your day while doing all your activities? Have you made some effort on that? And how many of you feel it is possible that I can really feel I am a self or soul while doing all the actions?
So sometimes it slips. It's not possible always.
Okay, sometimes it slips, but how about other time? Other time, what do you do? How do you know that you are self-aware?
Sir, what happens when
Hmm.
we consciously try,
Hmm.
then we become aware.
Okay. So
But
when you
when
do consciously try, what do you do? What do you? How do you explain that when you are consciously trying?
see, when I'm talking to someone,
Hmm.
I start, first I start switching over from body consciousness to soul consciousness. I start recognizing that I am a soul, and then I
Okay.
am talking to someone.
See,
So
when you
this
say I
way,
am recognizing as soul and talking, what do you mean? What really you do that time? It is just thinking or
that,
practically you
huh,
do something?
no, practically, there is some feeling from inside out.
Yeah.
Yes, I am shifting from my consciousness,
Hmm.
from, as it previously what happened when I am body conscious,
Hmm.
then what happened? I just talk.
Okay.
I keep on talking.
Hmm.
But when I shift my consciousness to
Hmm.
soul,
Hmm.
I started feeling yes, I am a soul, and
Hmm.
I am using my mouth
Hmm.
as an instrument to
Okay.
talk. So this shifting
Okay.
is giving lot of I mean easiness while doing my action.
Okay.
So that way I feel.
So, what do you say, Sister Gurupreet? How do you feel the difference? Like Sunil Bhai mentioned, like he has that awareness. He is using the instrument. He using the mouth. So, how do you feel when you experience that self-awareness?
Yes, sir. When we are aware that I am a soul, a point of energy
Mm,
interacting with another soul,
mm,
then things shift to a different level. You feel a closeness, a brotherhood.
mm,
Before that, what used to happen, I'm talking about myself, my experience, that I used to focus on the dress the person is wearing, the
mm,
post. For example, if he's a high official, he or she is a high post
mm,
somewhere holding high post, or female or male, or
mm.
the way they are speaking, and these things were more in focus.
Okay.
And the nationality also, and especially the financial or economic status, that also used to be in the forefront. But
Mm,
now it's not like that. Now even if I'm talking to a peon or
mm,
to any other ordinary person like a street hawker also,
mm,
that feeling, that clear understanding is there that
mm,
I am a soul, the one in front of me is also a soul,
mm,
we are equal on soul level. So this equality,
mm.
this shift, it makes things very easy. You don't have to switch on to I have to speak nicely because I am in front of a very high uh, officer, or I
Mm.
am speaking to a peon, now I can speak very ordinarily. No, now the things are like I am equal. I have regard for every person that I interact with. And there is a feeling of love. That love emerges, that we are equal, we are same.
Mm.
at soul level. And it works like magic. It works like magic, and everything shifts. Everything appears very beautiful.
Okay. So there are two more new person. Um, is it Sister Sachala, Rajni Kullar? I just want to know, Kusum, Lata, all three of you, have you done this Brahma Kumari's Raja Yoga course, or you are just new to this session? Okay, even if you are new or BKs, I just want to, today I thought we'll just talk about the awareness, self-awareness. So one is to uh, know theoretically, I am a conscious energy, I am a spirit, I am a soul. But the more you practice or the more you understand, then you are able to put your awareness, self-consciousness into practice. And that gives a, like Sunil Bhai and Sister Gurpreet explained, there is a shift in awareness. One moment you are in a different state of consciousness, and the very next moment your state of consciousness changes. One is like Brother Sunil experienced, how he is experiencing that self-awareness. The other way is how Sister Gurpreet, she is experiencing self-consciousness. So that self-consciousness itself has variety of experience. I experience in a different way. So what I feel, these sessions, we will try to understand how, in what different ways and in what different experiences we really be in that self-conscious state. So if you are doing meditation, it means it is not some practice which you are going to do for some moment in the day or in the evening. It should be something like, it changes your awareness. You, whatever you do it in a different state of consciousness, and that state of consciousness helps you understand things better, handle things in a better way, face the situations in a better way, and it helps you get rid of all types of sorrows, worries, anxieties. So when we talk about meditation, I talk about that state of consciousness which helps you handle every situation in a better way. So this is what we want to understand and put in practice in our day-to-day activities. So these sessions, maybe next 3 days, we will try to do that. And if required, we may also extend these sessions so that we will understand more about the state of consciousness. So Brother Sunil and Sister Gurpreet mentioned about, at least they know or they practice some, they put into practice this awareness, a change in awareness, a shift in consciousness. And how about others? I want to know, all others, whether you are able to experience the shift in awareness, consciousness by practicing meditation. And whoever is new, you can just raise your hand so that maybe I can give an introduction of this state of consciousness. If all of you are already practicing this self-awareness or some type of meditation, then you have to just say there is a shift in awareness. I assume all of you are practicing some type of meditation. Or if you are, someone is new, you can just mention in the chat box, or you just open your, switch on your mic and tell me. Fine. So this state of awareness, according to me, is I experience this state of consciousness when there is less number of thoughts, when I am able to detach myself from external influences or external thoughts, then it becomes easy. Earlier I used to have this awareness experience without understanding. Sometimes I have it, then I after that I used to keep thinking how what was that state of mind, how could I maintain that state of mind throughout the day while doing the activities. And it took lot of time. I will say almost 30-40 years for me to understand really what is that state of consciousness, how I can experience that consciously whenever I want. But to understand it, it was a very, you know, I would not say tedious, I will say it took a lot of learning, understanding, practice to achieve that state of awareness what I am experiencing nowadays. It was a very, you know, it was a very long journey, or it took long time for me to understand. So what
Sir,
do you feel?
it
uh,
took me 2 years to,
okay, it took two
recognize
years for
myself
you.
that, yeah, recognize myself that I am, uh, apart from this body,
Hmm.
I am also certain something which is, impacting me, my body and my thought, mind, everything. So it took 2 years for me.
Okay. Because I came into this BK Gyan almost 21 years before, in 2000. But even before that I was into trying to understand different types of experiences, because whenever I sit in silence I used to have two types of experience. One is to have that experience like Sister Gurpreet was explaining, so much light, loving, feeling good. And there is another type of experience being very powerful, and where I can handle different types of situations in a very easy way. But I do not know how to have this state of both the experiences all the time. But to understand that, it took me almost 18-20 years after coming into VK Gyan, reading Murlis and putting into practice. So then maybe it's less than 1 or 2 years, then I could understand, okay, this is the step by step process, so that I can anytime I can be in that state of awareness. So these the main purpose of having these sessions, I thought, um, at least this much we I took so many years to understand this, and people who are into new into the spirituality, maybe we can help them to understand this very quickly, maybe in less than 6 months, maybe in less than 1 month. So I feel maybe we can have these sessions every day. Let us start with 3 days and have a lot of discussion on this, or the practices what you do. It is not just one type of experience like Sunil Bhai explained, or like Sister Gurpreet explained. There is different types of experience at different moments of the day, and in every situations we have a variety of experiences of this self awareness, self consciousness. So when I say meditation, I mean this experience which we can have in our day-to-day life, to make our life easy, to make our life joyful, and become successful in whatever activities we do. Okay. So I would like to know if anybody else in this group session can share some of your experience of your meditation, how you put yourself put into in your day-to-day life activities, the experience of your meditation. Any of you can share your experience? So I want to know today, how many of you know that I can change my consciousness from a sorrowful, worrying, anxious to a hopeful, confident, um, a detached state of awareness. Sunil Bhai can do it, Sister Gurpreet can do it. How about others? Are you all are able to do that? One sister says, I control my anger. Good. Yes, sometimes when we are angry, the moment when we become aware of that meditative state of consciousness, the very next moment your anger goes away. And this I remember when I used to be with my friends. Sometimes one moment I become angry, and the next moment I become so the total shift in consciousness, so loving, easy, light. And even my friends noticed this, and they used to ask me, see, one moment you got so angry and the next moment that you just changed. And how they used to, they don't go into detail, but many times even my friends used to ask me that how it was possible for you. Hmm? And they will say, see, one moment you were so angry, and so nicely you just changed your state of mind. So any of you, have you experienced this?
Yes, sir, I have similar experience.
Yeah.
At times, what happen, I am irritated.
Mm,
The moment I felt I am irritated, that's not my original quality,
mm,
then I become calm.
okay. So this state of awareness, like Sister Gurpreet, Sunil Bhai, they can share. I want those who come for our sessions, I want all of you to have this state of mind. And uh, the more you have to put this into practice, and more you should help others to have this state of consciousness. And it is not, say, very simple thing. How you know that you are experiencing something useful from your meditation? It should help you in dealing with your day-to-day life in a better way, in a peaceful way, in an easy way, without creating tension or irritation, worries and anxieties, pain, suffering. So we want to know at any situation in your life, if it is creating some type of trouble, that moment you should understand, okay, something I need to do with that awareness. Somewhere I am going wrong, or somewhere I am not able to have control over my own self or the situations. So all of us whoever is participating today, we should we can um, make a note of this, maybe from tomorrow morning till evening. Am I happy? Am I stable? Am I content throughout the day in all the situations, whether it is at your home, whether in your office, whether any type of situations? And if something has troubled you, okay, the problem is there. People are there creating issues, problems, but how is your state of mind? Are you stable? Were you stable in that situation? Are you able to handle that situation with alertness, with self-awareness? Did any situation made you lose your self-awareness, self-control? So if anything happened in something like that throughout the day, then we can discuss about it to have more clarity. What made me to lose that awareness, consciousness, and what else we can do and to be in that state of consciousness, the stable awareness. So I just want to know, in any of you in this group now, the 8 participants, do you need some more discussions to understand that state of awareness, or you are okay with whatever you are experiencing? you feel that it is okay for me. I know what I'm doing. I don't need any help. It is okay with me. Or do you feel no, we can not, we need some more clarity or understanding to maintain that state of awareness, consciousness?
Yes, sir. Sometimes that awareness it slips off. Sometimes some situation comes, especially from your own body, like some health issues you have.
Hmm.
Then that awareness it does slip out that I am a soul. I am the energy running this body. You
Hmm.
have to do it consciously, and that also takes time. So in such situations and these upheavals sometimes, especially from your very close ones,
Hmm.
and especially the closest entity to you, your own body,
Hmm.
that upheavals, they take you, drive you away completely from your this soul consciousness.
So let us
And
take this
from
example. Now, someone, like you said, someone very close one is coming and saying something to you. At that moment, what happens? What happens to you? You get angry, worried, or what happens?
the first thing that we feel is the hurt, the uh, non-meeting of expectations that we have tied to that. When you go to the deep root, it's nothing but attachment. That we understand.
Hmm.
But that consciousness of soul,
Hmm.
it sometimes blacks out, it fades away.
Yeah. So why this is happening? It's not only for you. It happens to many of us. So why it's happening to us? See, one is we know it is attachment. Okay. But that information is not helping me to be stable in that situation. So in addition to that information of knowing it is attachment, what additional information you need or what additional practice you need or we need? So what do you feel? It is not just
Actually,
attachment. In addition to attachment, there are so many, let us say, call it as weakness or the negative feelings or related feelings, whatever you call. So in addition to attachment, what else we speak? What else we feel? Because every feelings has to be replaced. Because if I feel hurt, okay, now there is some information is missing. That's why I feel hurt. And what else you said? One is you feel hurt, another is you there is attachment. What else? So what are the additional information we need to have? Let us say hurt. I feel hurt by someone speaking something to me, the known person who are very close to you. So what is required to handle this situation?
Sir, feelings, I think feeling is only two type of feeling. Either it is negative or positive.
Hmm.
If someone is hurting, that is negative feeling.
Okay.
If you felt you are not honored, that is also a negative feeling.
Okay.
You have not been respected, that is also a negative feeling. So the moment such feeling comes,
Hmm.
I think we should immediately focus on our consciousness.
Hmm.
And that consciousness, the moment you felt your consciousness,
Hmm.
there will be a shift. Definitely, if you are aware about your soul
So let us
consciousness.
say if you experience that consciousness, what all things you are going to experience at that moment? What experience will bring that shift in consciousness?
The thought comes, ki see,
Hmm.
somebody has hurted me.
Hmm.
So what? They have hurted. They have hurted maybe because of their own reason.
Hmm.
But I am not that person. I am not a that personality. I can, manage my emotion. I can switch over. I started thinking that yes, that's all right, but I am not uh, that particular person by name Sunil Shrivastava.
Mm.
So that way I do like.
Okay. See, I will tell you a few examples how I used to do. See what happens when something like this situation happens. Let us say if you stabilize in that self consciousness, one thing is you know that you are a point of light, point of consciousness. And the moment you shift in that point of consciousness, you become unlimited in awareness. Unlimited
Right.
in awareness in the sense I totally detached from the complete situation, and my awareness itself has moved from normal physical to an unlimited level. And second thing, what happens when such situation happens, when you be in that unlimited consciousness, a power of silence envelops you, covers you up, and that silence make your mind become still, become focused. And I have seen many times when you experience this state of consciousness, even the other person becomes quiet, or there is no argument from the other person. And third thing, what I used to do is there is a knowledge of that the more demands what we create for others, it creates frustration, anger in others. But when I feel that whatever happens in the drama, being a BK, we know the drama. There's nothing going to happen which is not destined or which is not in the drama. So this information helps me at many a times. If there is a lot of attachment to someone and you feel you want expect someone to do something and they're not doing, and we know that it is for their good but they are not doing it, but we know that they may not do anything which is not in the drama. And second thing, I also think that every soul comes to learn something, whether it is our own kids or relatives, friends. It is it is not my role, soul's role. Everyone has their own role to play in this world drama, and they have to do act to learn something. Because you have already learned, you cannot expect others to, you know, not learning by experiencing them. So it's like helping someone to learn driving. You cannot sit in that driver's car and you start driving, it creates problems. So most of the time when we talk about attachment, the problem is we try to drive the car for others.
Right.
But when you know that everyone has to drive their own car, you play the role of a teacher, guide. You sit next to them and you always guide them, do this, and you don't stop them doing what they want, but you always be there as a guide. But for to be a guide, to be detached, and to face or to allow the other person to do something which you feel it is a wrong and it is going to hurt them, it really needs some courage, faith in the drama, faith in the destiny, faith in the spirituality, with self empowerment, with that soul consciousness, self awareness. You gain all these things. So this is how I generally deal with this such situations, like when someone close to you or with lot of attachment are not, you don't feel uh, you are not able to control their activities, then these informations and this self consciousness, it helps a lot. So what do you feel, whether these information, the knowledge, that's what it is, not just practice. We need a lot of information, spiritual knowledge to handle any situation. So meditation is not just some type of practice. It includes, one is the self consciousness, which empowers you, and along with that self consciousness there is information, the knowledge, lot of knowledge you need, the spiritual knowledge. That's why we read daily murli, sakar murli, awake murlis. So if you want to have a spiritual life, lead a spiritual life, it is not just some type of practice. Of course the practice helps you a lot, the detached awareness, it helps you to be detached and remember the knowledge whatever you have learned from your spiritual practice or the spiritual lessons. So this self awareness is very important to remember whatever you have learned, whatever you have learned from your spiritual practices, spiritual teachings. If you lose yourself in the situations, in the problems, then you don't have time to uh, detach and recollect, remember the knowledge. That's why in Murli's Baba used to say, na, the weapons you should carry all the time. We are in the war, we are in the war against the vices or the our own weaknesses, and for that you need all the weapons of knowledge. And to have that knowledge at the right time, you have to be detached. Unless you detach, you will not be able to remember the knowledge, the information, what is required at that point of time. So today we are discussing about the hurt feelings which we have most of the time with the people whom you are attached, or mostly people who are closely related, like your son, daughter, relatives, brothers, sisters, parents. So what do you feel, or what you like to share something on this, how you face the situation of hurt, how meditation helps you to face the situation. Anyone like to share? Okay. So today's session, we need to understand that self awareness is very much important to deal with your day to day activities in a peaceful way, happy way, joyful way, in a stable way. It's not, no need that you need to happy all the time, but you have to be peaceful all the time, whatever you do. That if you are able to maintain that peace, you have a clear mind, clear intellect to understand the situation, to recall all the information you have learned through spirituality, so that when you are able to recall, you can use them at that very moment to overcome the negative so-called feelings. I will not call any feelings as negative. See, the feeling, whatever you are experiencing is feeling. So you have to just change that feeling. You need not have to feel that it is a negative feeling or it is making you bad. Okay, if it is making you not comfortable, then you have to see what other feeling I can bring within myself at that particular moment. So for this, that detached awareness, self-awareness is required. Like in Brahmakumaris, we learn the first lesson is to know you are a soul, and the soul has these organs of mind, intellect, and sanskars. So I feel we should able to understand more on what is soul and what is this mind, intellect, and sanskars. This information really helps us a lot. See, some people say, find it difficult to understand when they say that I am a soul. They say, what is the soul? It is something spirituality or something people talk about it when they reach the age of 70, 80, when they are into a retirement stage. But our experience says you should understand what is soul. It is not just soul. If you don't not comfortable with soul, you can call it as consciousness. You can call it as psyche. You can call it as um, something, a state of awareness which helps you deal with any type of situation in an easy way, in a better way, in a comfortable way. So meditation, when I say meditation, it is to understand this state of consciousness, awareness, a state of mind, and put that awareness into your day-to-day practice. So that is to know yourself as consciousness, a spirit, a soul, is awareness beyond this physical body. And the second thing, as a in meditation, you should understand. Okay, now I understood that consciousness. But next, you should understand what this consciousness does. What is the quality of this consciousness? What is your natural nature? So that is, you should understand that my natural nature is peace, love, happiness, joy, and which you can maintain these qualities throughout the day. And if I'm not able to do that, then you are not in a meditative state. You have not understood meditation if you are not able to have all these positive qualities throughout the day. So meditation is to understand how to maintain my natural nature throughout the day. And second thing, when I say meditation, it is to understand what is the role of mind. What is that we call it as mind? It is not just, okay, I know mind, it creates thoughts. But when I say meditation, it is to understand what I really mean by my mind. What is my mind's role in my day-to-day activities? So to make it simple, I will say, instead of thinking mind as something, some entity, we should understand it is a process of thinking. And this process, anytime we can manipulate. You have full control over this process of thinking, which we call it as mind. So in meditation, another step is to understand the mind, the process of mind, and having full control over this process of thinking. And
So
next,
can we also say mind is a process of perceiving,
see,
because our mind is mind has a uh, the external stimuli attract the attract from the outer world that affect my mind, isn't it? If I'm watching something from outside, then there is a disturbance in my mind. I start observing, I start analyzing, I start making judgment. So can we call it mind is a process of perceiving?
see, if you want to just talk about mind, we can include all those activities in the mind. But if
Okay.
you want to have control over it, see, we have been learning about mind from our childhood days. We are hearing about mind everywhere, and we know what is mind. But that information is not helping me to deal with the situation, people, in a stable way, in a easy way, in a happy way. So we need some more information about mind, the function of mind. See, in very simple, like we listen in Murli, that if you are facing some problems, go into the depth of it. So if you are facing some problem in your life, then and you have more information about mind, still you are having some problem. in dealing with the mind or with the people, then I need to know that I need some more understanding about the function of mind. We need to get into the depth of it. So if you say, okay, the mind is the one which perceives everything, that is right. But that information is not helping me to deal with the mind in a better way. So what is that additional information required? Is to understand that it's totally different. The mind is not doing the perception. It is the consciousness which receive the information. And when the consciousness starts thinking about the stimulus, whatever is received, that function we can call it as mind. So I will say, to make an clear understanding of the mind, I'll just say that it is just process of thinking. There is nothing more to do. The perception is connected with your consciousness. Perception is your consciousness perceive things and start thinking about creating thoughts about that perceived objects, and that process of creating thoughts is called mind. And you need to understand this. It is not just, you know, listening or theoretical. By your practice you should know when I am creating thoughts. By your practice, when I say meditation, it is to understand how I perceive things, how I create thoughts, and how these thoughts are creating feelings, and how these feelings become emotions, and how these emotions are creating changes in my body, in my behavior, in my hormones. So this subtle process, the complete process, we need to understand. And that process, I call it as understanding meditation or practicing meditation. So whatever we have been learned about meditation, I I say that it is not helping us to deal with the people and situations, and so it is not meditation. When I say meditation, to understand the complete process of perceiving the things, people, situations, and I need to understand how this information is going within my mind, how I am creating thoughts. So whatever we had learned, understood as mind, we need to, you know, change or give different meanings, different words for different process of thinking. Or we have to just segregate. Now we are going to segregate mind itself. Till now we thought, okay, when I say mind, I understood a lot. But now we are going to break that mind. And I'm going to really pinpoint this exactly is what is I'm thinking as mind. And this is what something has to be removed from the so-called mind. So here, when I say meditation, it is to understand the mind is not the one what I have been thinking. It is something different. We have to break down the mind. If I want to really deal with the mind, if I really want to control my thoughts, if I really want to deal with my situations in my day-to-day life, I really want to understand. It is not understanding. You really should experience what is the mind. So when I say meditation, you need to experience what is consciousness. You really have to understand what is mind. You really need to understand what is thought and how I am experiencing thought, how I am experiencing mind, and how I am experiencing feelings, emotions. Everything you should know that each function it is happening within me, and when you know, then you can control. ऊपर ऊपर आप बोलेंगे ना ये माइंड है, ये परसेप्शन है, ये है, then you are not able to control. But the moment you know this is what I call mind, This is what I call thoughts. This is what I call feelings. This is what I call emotions. You should know it. Then I say it is meditation. And then it helps you in your day to day activities. In the name of meditation, you have learned so many things. Different types of meditation you have all over the world. But here, what we are going to discuss when I say meditation, it is to understand the whole process of thinking, perceiving, understanding, feeling, experiencing, and how I am enacting it. So, the 11 participants in this group, I want to know, will you be interested to learn this meditation as something to understand the complete process, what you have been doing from your childhood days to till date? So, I feel this is what we will learn in meditation, and it is very simple thing. We are not going to talk something which is something which is not you are going to, which you are not doing in your life. We will just take simple activities, and we will break down that simple activity, and we will try to understand each and every process of thinking, doing, feeling, experiencing. Why we need to do this? Then you can do meditation. You can say that I am meditating all the time. Okay.
Yes, sir, interested.
But I do not know. I will how we'll make these sessions interesting, but we'll go step by step. You know,
Hmm.
we'll share the experience. We'll share how you are dealing with it. We will say, okay, like today we said hurt feelings. So I said how I am dealing with that hurt feelings with this information and knowledge. So similarly, everyone can share your experience. Okay, today this was the problems I faced, and this is how I put my practice or awareness into practice to deal with that situation. So today, at least one explanation we will understand what is meditation. It is to break down the process of thinking and try to understand what really happens in my thinking process and what all things are involved. Like there is something called consciousness, there is something called perception, there is something called mind, there is something called intellect, there is something called feelings, something called experience. So these things we will go one by one and try to understand. And for today, let us say consciousness. Like we discussed, when there is consciousness, there is a natural qualities of that consciousness we should understand. And um, according to my experience, I experience that consciousness when I sit in silence. And I also experience that when I deal with the people or situations, I can focus on that. I can detach and look at the people with that state of awareness. And it took me so many years to do that. So now I want the participants to understand this state of consciousness. So let us practice a few seconds. I just want to know whether all of you are able to do this. Just become aware of your five senses, things in front of you. You are listening to my sound. You are also feeling. You feel the air, your clothes, the chair, the floor, and you also have the taste, smell. So with all your five senses active, let me focus on that space between all these sense stimulus, the space, the silence. You are hearing my voice, you are seeing things, but you are not creating any type of thoughts about all these five senses, five stimulus received through your five senses. Without creating thoughts, without analyzing anything, you are just still, you are just receiving. You are not thinking, you are not creating thoughts, and just feel the silence. So, for today's session, I will say this silence, if you can catch hold of the silence, if you can feel the silence, this is the consciousness. This is the first step of understanding consciousness. Let us say the other steps we will discuss later on. But for today and for tomorrow's practice, let us say, whenever I feel, let me experience this silence. And the process is just become aware of your five senses. Hear the sounds, look at the objects, feel, think, and in between the sounds, feel that silence. And today's session is, today's takeaway, today's understanding is the silence is self. The silence is me. And there is a process to experience the silence. Just become aware of your five senses and the space between the sounds, between the sense stimulus. That space, when I experience, I become calm, quiet. And that is my natural nature. That is my own self awareness. So let me stick to this awareness tomorrow. Whatever I do, let me do everything with this awareness of silence. Let me not lose the touch of this silence at any moment. Whatever I do, let me feel that this silence is there with me. So that you are self aware, self control in whatever you do, whether you think, you talk, whether you speak. And I can say this is a meditation. Throughout the day, if you do all your activities, being in touch with this silence, that is meditation. You are constantly in a state of meditation. So for today's session, let us understand silence is meditation, and let me catch hold of the silence in whatever activities you do, whether you think, speak, talk, walk, discuss. Let me not lose this touch of silence. Okay. So maybe another 2 minutes we will, if you have any questions to ask, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll stop and we'll start tomorrow, same time at 8 p.m. Okay. Thank you all for joining the session.